and get you, oh my gosh, I'm being attacked, I better defend myself. Hey, I'm just putting out the info. Destroy me. The info is there at the end of it. You see, it's that power of the info already went out. Destroy me. I don't want to be destroyed. I love life so much I'm willing to give it up. Destroy my name. Destroy it all. This message has to go out. The globalists know I see them. You see, that's the other issue. They know I'm looking right at them. They know I got it. I got it, in fact, more than many of them do. So that's why I've been told from very high levels to actually listen to the show, because, in a way, they're so decadent and so sold out to everything. It's kind of thrilling to hear somebody talk about them from the other perspective. I'm almost like Howard Cosell calling the game. They're so sick of the fake reality they give the public. They know there's blowback on them. They know it's actually hurting them as well. Some globalists clearly believe that I'm also, in a way, even helping them understand their plan a little bit better. Because each of us is a stage, each of us is a player upon the stage. The whole world is a stage, to quote Shakespeare. But what I'm getting at here is that obviously it's like a moth to flame. The psychopaths like to hear about themselves. The psychopaths like to call the police station and say, I'm going to kill another one tonight. There's nothing you're going to do. They get more and more reckless. They want to be caught subconsciously. But in a statistical, cold-blooded analysis, they haven't killed me physically because it could exclamation point, highlight, underline, shout out, megaphone, everything I've said. But again, I've answered that question for you. I just think it's important for you to understand they don't want to endanger their overall program, because it's all based on the false reality. It's all based on them making things more and more about fantasy, phasing out reality, phasing out our true republic, phasing out our culture, destroying everything, making people just these emotional, arrested development, adults that are like children, unconscious, unawake, basically in the dark. And so the globalists basically are masters at mass manipulation and hoaxes and false reports, and to use our own goodness against us to buy into their frauds, to buy into their fake party atmospheres they create. And so they're actually quite weak. They're only able to operate by playing like an instrument the public. But the moment you're conscious, they can't do that anymore. And so that's why. They have to sell you that torture is good and secret arrest and surveillance is good. They've always had to hide that. Now, because we've exposed it and others have, they're having to try to go, well, okay, it's okay to have the TSA grab your daughter's crotch or your wife's breast. It's okay to have us put fluoride in the water. It's okay, we did put on the insert the vaccine can brain damage you, but still it's good for you. Don't read the insert. Don't look at the fine print. You see, Aaron, I'm ranting here, but do you have any perspectives on what I've said?
Yeah, in addition to what you're saying, I think it has to do with the pace of information. I mean, what's the real reason why the Library of Alexandria got destroyed? It killed a whole culture of information. And so I think in a decade, if they succeed in stopping the internet, that's when you might be physically in danger. Right now, the public knows what's going on, and it would be a total backlash against them. It was easy in the 60s when one hand controlled the only 3 television networks to kill the Kennedy brothers and Martin Luther King and spin it and lie about it, and they knew they'd basically get...
And now it's come out the CIA was there, gunman. The L.A. police said that he was shot from behind. It was the government. And that's on record. Sorry, go ahead.
When you get killed 10 minutes after a crucial election and your brother was murdered for related reasons, it's not really, doesn't take brain science.
Exactly. There is that psychic warfare, that psychological warfare, that psychological compulsion built in, that when you hear about any corruption, you call it a conspiracy theory. Stay there. I want to hear more from you, Aaron, on the other side. I'm going to hit a smattering of news here, but we've really been just talking about the philosophy of the New World Order. I do a show on the weekend because I get so wound up. In the past, started doing the show on the weekend, I guess 5 years ago, time flies. I get so wound up that I want to be back on air. And so I guess I should do more radio interviews. We turn down most of the interviews unless it's a big syndicated show just because I'm so busy. And I guess it's when the weekend's happening that I want to do stuff because I've got time off and I'm thinking about everything. Sometimes I get a bit burnt out here at work. But I'm just begging you, audience, because I love you and I care about you. I mean, it's basic human compassion and understanding that if you care about somebody, they're going to care about you, and that builds a better world. I mean, if I didn't know a child and saw him walking out in front of a car, I'd run out and try to push him out of the way. Not because I'm a hero, but because I'm just a normal person. And they've taken our basic human instincts out of us. I mean, I've told the story probably 20 times. And I'll tell it again, briefly. I know my son was only about 1.5 years old, so I guess it had to be about 9 years ago, or 8.5 years ago. And I was at a La Madeline in North Austin restaurant. And I went to the bathroom. We were halfway done eating dinner. And I came back. I heard yelling and screaming while I was in the bathroom. So I came out. All these people were standing around a woman, turning purple, grabbing her throat, choking. They were all screaming like parrots, 911, 911, like, call my mommy government, call my daddy government. And I said, somebody do the Heimlich. And somebody's like, be quiet. We'll get an ambulance. Just, again, an idiot. The woman would be dead by then. 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes, you're dead. You know, I took CPR when I was on the swim team in Dallas. Just a basic course. I knew that. Dead. And I said, listen, I'm going to give her the Heimlich. And now the woman's falling over on the table. Purple, grabbing her throat. And I had to shove the people out of the way, bug my eyes out at some tough guy, because it was a crime to help somebody. You got to call the police. I mean, I guess if I'm going to the bathroom next time, I'll call the police to come wipe my hind end. I mean, that's what this is coming down to in this sick culture. And it wasn't because I was a great guy. This woman was dying. And then I got her, did the Heimlich. She coughed out this big old piece of bread. And everybody's like, you're a hero, he's a hero. But they were acting weird. The woman's like, oh, my stomach. So I thought, oh, I'll get sued. I'm like, no, we're not finishing dinner, let's go. And they were all just like demonic and angry that someone had done something. They just wanted a black boot to stomp them in the head. They wanted to be run, like those people in Nazi Germany who followed orders into those pits to be shot in the back of the head. I mean, it's like a demonic destroy me attitude, but I can't get mad at them because they've been programmed to not be normal. They've been programmed to be these creatures. But I'm going to tell men something. You're not going to find manhood watching football and cussing with your buddies. You're not going to find it there. Your food and your water is having compounds added to reduce your fertility and to lower your testosterone level. Women, the reason we have the highest rate of cancer in the U.S. and breast cancer is because the estrogen mimickers and the bisphenol A. I care about you. And nobody's going to care about you in the establishment when they're sucking all the money out of you at a hospital. And you're put in the ground in a year. And no one will want to admit they didn't avoid the cancer-causing stuff. Just, it's time to turn it around now. And for a lot of you that serve the system, I know a lot of you aren't going to listen. But I've studied this. Only the royalty and the top elites are obsessed with organic food. They have it flown with them everywhere they go. You can look this up. It's incredible. Just look up each globalist and then type in organic food. You'll find out they have their own farms and gardens and are obsessed and carry it on their own jets. In each case, if it's a eugenicist talking about reducing our population, Bill Gates, the British royal family, Dutch royal family, Ted Turner, any of them, they're now obsessed with their own food and water everywhere with them. You know why, folks? They're all making statements how they want to kill you. They're top scientists that own the companies giving you the food you're eating. Okay, so I know you won't listen now, but when your 10-year-old gets that cancer, I want you to go look up that 50 years ago, no children got cancer. Or when your wife, that pretty little 35-year-old, gets that breast cancer, and they want to chop her up, and then a year later she's dead or whatever, then you'll look up what I told you. Okay? Because the wages of going under this are death. The wages of being part of the system, and, oh, I don't talk about kooky stuff like that, Alex Jones. The wages of that are death. You understand that? This is real. This is real. This is real. As real as it gets, okay? As real as it gets. I know I'm the bad man because I wasn't out of a restaurant of like 40 people gathered around that woman watching her die. I went over and did the Heimlich maneuver. Not because I'm anything special, ladies and gentlemen. Quite frankly, you cross me, I'm one of the most hateful, vindictive, aggressive people you can imagine. You know why? Because I'm real. I'm a real human being. I bleed red blood. I have real passions. I don't want to be a slave. You understand that? You have been warned. You have been warned. You have been absolutely told what's going on. None of this crud matters. Aaron, I'm sorry. I dragged you in here to talk because you were up here working and I'm ranting. But your view overall on all this.
I appreciate you letting me say that, too, because I've talked to friends who, they say they're pissed off because their grandmother died of cancer, so now they want to go to grad school and be part of the pharma system. I told them, you look up the Maurice Hillerman clip where they laugh about cancer and the vaccines. Look up the congressional testimony where they talk about the taint.
And their eyes glaze over.
But going back to the...
No. Breast cancer. Always treat it. Don't ask why it's up 3,000%. Treat it. Don't ask... It's like trying to learn how to treat somebody run over by a Mack truck instead of don't be run over by the Mack truck. I'm sorry.
But this is someone who's a Ron Paul supporter. They know about 9/11. They know what's going on, but they won't go that extra step.
They can't face it.
But look at what's here in this satire, this humor article about how 2 billion people need to voluntarily commit suicide. Well, what is...
In Australia, ABC News Australia, we showed it. They teach the kids to commit suicide.
But here, it's suicide by voluntary ignorance about the stuff we've been warned about. They joke in here about how half the world's progeny have to be sterilized, how they could poison the world's water supply to kill us. That's in this humor article. Well, you know as well as I do, it's real.
That's in the White House documents. It's been done at least since the 70s.
Yeah. Well, at least since 1969, when Planned Parenthood's vice president wrote a secret memo saying they should put fertility control agents in the water and encourage homosexuality and a whole bunch of other junk. You as well as I know that...
And then they make it about bashing gay people. Hey, buddy, I'm not upset about what you're doing in your bedroom. The point is they put chemicals in there to confuse sexuality. That's why our runoff from our sewage is so bad. Most of the fish are bisexual now, and the entire life cycle's breaking down. I'm talking about chemicals in your water.
It's not even... It's not...
No, I know. That's why they've had hundreds of publications attack us on this point, saying we're anti-gay, because they're so scared folks are going to look this up. They want to make it about a political correct religious thing where they go, oh, he was mean to our sexuality.
But how about when Eric Pianka did his speech at the Texas Academy of Sciences and the audience of scientists laughed about how we need to, quote, sterilize everyone on
through the water and kill everybody, and they actually started crying at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, kill everybody. Oh, murder. We're control freaks. We're in on the plan to kill everybody. Oh, we're so cool. Laboratories all over the United States with airborne stuff that kills over 90% of the people it comes in contact with. Hey, cops, how you going to like it when that stuff gets out and your kids are all dead? They'll probably blame us. Aaron, look at this article. You did one on this, but it's also NRA's reporting. New Jersey Assembly moves to ban all handgun and most rifle ammo, including any guns that have been altered, including putting a scope on them. This is out of Ammo Land, but you have a big article at Infowars.com. And now we learned all over the country they're introducing legislation to ban ammo. Yeah. Here's another one. United Nations preparing to manage global mental health. They're going to write all the guidelines on that. And they say not trusting authorities mentally ill, Aaron. All the founding fathers were bad. Here's some more. Forced to stand for 24 hours, suicide nets, toxin exposure and explosions inside the Chinese factories making iPads for Apple. But Al Gore's on their board, so it's trendy.
The whole global system, the stuff they do at Davos and the G20, we're supposed to buy into it and sympathize with how we're going to help and save the world. Look what the IMF does. They put in those regulations.
Davos is saying that, oh, they're going to fix everything. They're the ones that raped everyone.
Yeah, that's what the IMF does.
They're the criminals that stole all the money, that own the whore media that lies to you. They're all eugenicists at Davos. They always shoot their mouths off there. These are people so evil, they get off on your wife dying of breast cancer. I'm sorry.
If you can barely read, you can at least watch the movie Life Plus Dead on the IMF, how they put Jamaica into receivership, how they weren't allowed to export their own crops or even trade them in their own country, how when they complained about the wage controls, they brought in Chinese slaves to take the jobs the IMF created to save the country. They did that to every third world.
Yeah, Jamaica, my parents would go there 30 years ago all the time. It was awesome. Happy people, great. Now it is, I've been there, a living hell pit. But that's what the globalists do. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to find out, because let me tell you, we tried to stop it. It's going to roll on, but it's running into problems. The globalists are having problems. It's all at Infowars.com. Humanity's got to awaken to defeat this tyranny. We'll see you back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central.